The autumn leaves crunched under my boots as I hurried through the streets of Portland. A thermos of homemade soup clutched tightly in my hands. The crisp October air stung my cheeks, but my heart was warm with anticipation. I'd spent hours perfecting the recipe, carrot and ginger, Eli's favorite, hoping it would bring a smile to his face. Every chop, every simmer, every carefully measured pinch of spice felt like an offering, a small plea for him to remember the life we had built together. It had been 3 weeks since the accident that left him in the hospital, his memory a patchwork of gaps and shadows, and I had clung to hope like a lifeline. I'd been by his side every day, tending to his needs, whispering memories of our 4 years together, praying that somewhere, amidst the haze, he'd remember me, us, our life. The hospital's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as I reached the 5th floor. I slowed as I approached Ellie's room, the door slightly ajar, hesitant to intrude but unable to stay away. His voice, sharp and unfamiliar, sliced through the quiet, cutting into the calm I had tried to carry with me. That clingy little queer, Lucas. You think I'd fake a coma just to get rid of him? Please. I'd rather jump off a bridge. My breath caught, the thermos nearly slipping from my hands. His words were a blade, precise and merciless, cutting through years of devotion and trust. I froze, my body numb, struggling to process the reality that the man I loved, who had once whispered my name like it was sacred, could speak of me this way. Another voice, probably a friend, chimed in hesitantly, trying to soften the sting. Come on, Ely. Lucas has been here every day. He's been cooking for you, reading to you. The guy's practically a saint. Ellie's laugh was cold, bitter, echoing in the sterile hospital corridor. Saint. He's a nobody. A one-abe artist with a pretty face and zero spine. You think I'd have kept him around if he wasn't so easy to manipulate? He's been hanging on to me like a lost puppy, thinking I'd actually marry him. Marry him, can you imagine? The thermos felt like lead in my hands. My vision blurred, not from tears but from the force of betrayal pressing down on me. Years of love. Countless nights listening to his dreams, painting murals on the walls of our cozy loft by the river, cooking every meal he liked. All of it seemed to evaporate in an instant. And yet, the quietest, most painful part was the realization that he had never truly seen me, never truly loved me. Not in the way I had loved him. I didn't storm in, I didn't scream. I simply turned, my boots silent against the linoleum, and walked away. The thermos, filled with the soup I had made with trembling hands, found its way into the nearest trash can, along with every hope I'd carried for us. By the time I reached our loft, my hands were steady, my mind painfully clear. I packed a single suitcase, clothes, my sketchbook, a few keepsakes, the photo of us at Cannon Beach, laughing under a stormy sky, stayed on the wall. I didn't need it anymore. I didn't need reminders of a life that had been an illusion. Ely called that night, his voice syrupy sweet, asking for his favorite soup. I let the call go to voicemail, my fingers hovering over the delete button before I finally pressed it. I didn't owe him an explanation. I didn't owe him anything. The first time in years, I felt an unexpected liberation in that silence. The quiet affirmation that I could choose myself over someone who had never truly chosen me. Seattle arrived like a fresh canvas, its gray skies and bustling streets a stark contrast to Portland's quiet charm. I rented a small studio apartment near Pike Place Market, where the smell of coffee, salty fish, and damp autumn leaves mingled in the air. My days were spent sketching in cafes, trying to rebuild the life I'd lost. The headaches that plagued me after the move slowly faded, replaced by a quiet determination to start over, to rediscover the part of me that had been swallowed by grief and heartbreak. One rainy evening, an old friend, Mia, insisted I join her for a university alumni gathering. I hesitated, feeling the pull of my apartment's solitude, haunted by memories of Ely, but something inside nudged me forward. The bar was packed, the air thick with laughter, the clink of glasses, and the hum of conversations I didn't fully hear. I scanned the room, feeling out of place, until my eyes landed on Caleb. Caleb was my lab partner back in college, always quiet, always kind. Now, he stood in a corner, his dark hair swept back, his tailored navy suit accentuating his broad shoulders. The world had treated him well, and he had grown into a man whose presence demanded respect without even trying. When our eyes met, his lips curved into a warm smile, and my heart stuttered in a way I hadn't felt in years. "Lucas," he said, his voice low and steady, as if no time had passed. "It's been too long." We talked for hours, the noise of the bar fading into the background. He remembered my love for sketching, the way I'd doodle on the edges of our lab notes. He asked about my life, and I found myself opening up about Ely, the accident, the betrayal. Caleb listened, his eyes never leaving mine, his hand resting lightly on my arm when I faltered. It was a gentle reminder that someone could care for me without strings, without selfish motives, without the need to control. When the night grew late and the drinks blurred my edges, I stumbled toward the restroom, my head spinning. Caleb followed, catching me as I swayed against the wall. "Let me get you home," he said, his voice gentle but firm. "I'm fine," I mumbled, but my legs betrayed me. He guided me to the elevator, his arm steady around my waist. In the dim light, I noticed the faint scar above his eyebrow, a mark from an old fight defending me from a bully who'd mocked my limp. A lingering injury from a childhood accident that had left me self-conscious for years. That scar now felt like a symbol of the man who had silently supported me without asking for anything in return. "You don't have to do this," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "I'm a mess, Caleb. You don't need to deal with me." He tilted his head, his eyes softening. "You're not a mess, Lucas. You're you. And that's enough." Later, in the quiet of my small hotel room, Caleb stood by the door, his presence comforting and unsettling all at once. I laughed bitterly. "You know I'm gay, right? The whole world knows. They call me a gold digger, a nobody. You sure you want to be seen with me?" Caleb stepped closer, his gaze unwavering. "Let them talk. I don't care about headlines. I care about you." Before I could protest, he closed the distance, his lips brushing mine. Tentative at first, a question, a spark igniting years of buried feelings. I froze, heart pounding, then leaned into him, hands finding his shoulders. The kiss deepened, a warmth spreading from my chest, filling spaces I hadn't realized were hollow. The memory of late nights in the lab, the unspoken tension, the small gestures of care I had always overlooked, they all came rushing back in that moment. We stumbled toward the bed, our laughter and whispered names merging with the soft patter of rain against the window. Every touch, every sigh, every stolen glance felt like a reclamation of the life I had thought lost forever. When we finally pulled apart, my chest heaved, mind reeling from the intensity of the connection we had just reignited. The next morning, a napkin with his number left on the bedside table was both a promise and a lifeline. Yet, the outside world was relentless. News of our night together spread like wildfire. A blurry photo of us entering my hotel room hit the internet. The headlines vicious. "Failed artist Lucas hooks tech mogul." I ignored them, focusing instead on my sketches, Caleb's texts, and the slow, steady rhythm of a life slowly coming back into focus. But Ely, of course, refused to let go. He called, his voice slurred and desperate, accusing me of moving on too fast. "You think Caleb wants you. He's just using you to get to me. You're nothing without me, Lucas." I laughed hollowly, feeling an unfamiliar strength in my voice. "You're wrong, Ely. I was something before you, and I'll be something after." When he posted a photo with his new boyfriend, Ryan, a model whose smug smile seemed designed to taunt me, I felt nothing. His fans tore me apart in the comments, but I didn't read them. I blocked him, deleted his number, and moved on. For the first time in years, I felt the quiet power of freedom, untainted by guilt or longing. Caleb became my anchor. Evenings were spent cooking together, sharing laughter and stories. On my tiny balcony, under the soft glow of city lights, he took my hand. "I've liked you since college, Lucas." I was too scared to say it then, but I'm not now. My heart ached with memories of our shared past. He had been there through my insecurities, my injuries, my quiet heartbreaks. He had never judged or controlled me, only offered presence and care. I leaned into him, lips finding his, and for the first time in years I felt whole. Then came Illy's final attempt. One stormy night, soaked and shivering, he appeared outside my apartment. "Lucas, I was wrong. I need you. Come back." I stared at him, the man who had broken me, and felt only pity. "You don't get to do this, Ely. You don't get to play the victim." Before he could respond, Caleb's arm slid around my waist, grounding me. "Everything okay, babe?" His tone was light, but his eyes were sharp, protective. Ella's face twisted with rage. "You're making a mistake, Lucas. He's my rival. He's using you." Caleb's grip tightened slightly, calm and unwavering. "You lost him, Ely. Deal with it." Ellie lunged for me and I yanked free. "You're pathetic, Ely. You never loved me. You loved controlling me." Caleb stepped between us, fists clenched but composed. "Back off, or I'll make you regret it." Billy stumbled back, eyes wild, and eventually drove away, leaving only rain and the echo of his failure. Caleb pulled me close, his warmth a reassurance. "He's not worth it," he whispered. "You are." A month later, Ellie's company collapsed, his reputation in tatters. I didn't care. I was busy building a new life with Caleb, exhibiting my art, finding joy in the small, quiet moments. One snowy evening, as we walked through a park, he stopped under a streetlight, his breath visible in the cold. "Lucas," he said softly, "I want to spend every winter with you, every summer, every fall. Will you let me?" I smiled, my heart full, knowing that I had finally found home. Not in a city, not in a place, but in him. He kissed me. Snowflakes settling on our shoulders, and I felt the steady pulse of love that had always been patient, always been waiting.